Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Senior BJP leader Pramod Sawant sworn in as Chief Minister of Goa today for second consecutive term. Rajya Sabha witnesses adjournment over noisy scenes by opposition parties on price rise and other issues. Criminal Procedure Identification Bill 2022 introduced in Lok Sabha. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar meets Sri Lankan Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa to hold bilateral and BIMSTEC meetings over next 2 days. Over 183 crore 26 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Met Department forecasts heat wave in several northern and western states for the next 3 days. Russia and Ukraine to hold fresh round of talks in Turkey. Oscar Awards 2022 announced in Los Angeles. Will Smith wins first Oscar as Best Actor. Dune wins 6 awards and Coda takes 3. Ace Indian shuttler PV Sindhu wins women's singles title at Swiss Open Badminton Championships at Basel. And in IPL, Gujarat Titans to take on Lucknow Super Giants at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai this evening. As we start the bulletin, we appeal to our listeners to stay safe from COVID-19 by following these 4 simple steps. Get fully vaccinated, wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Dr. Pramod Sawant today took oath as the Chief Minister of Goa for the second consecutive time at a grand ceremony attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and top BJP leaders. Governor P.S. Sridharan Pillai administered the oath. Along with Dr. Pramod Sawant, 8 other cabinet ministers also took oath. The ceremony was held at the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Stadium in Talegaon in Goa. More from our correspondent.
विश्वजीत राणे, मोविन गुदीन, रवी नाईक, निलेश काबराल, सुभाष शिरोडकर, रोहन खंवटे, Govind Gowde, Atanasio Monserrat were given oath as cabinet ministers today. Dr. Sawant was elected as the leader of the BJP Legislative Party and Chief Minister of Goa last Monday. The BJP has won 20 seats in the 40-member house in the Goa Assembly polls with the support of 3 independent MLAs and 2 MLAs of Maharashtrabadi Gomantak Party. The BJP has retained the power. Portfolios to the new ministers are yet to be announced. With Tushar Jadhav, Kesh Thali, Panaji, Goa. AIR News.
In Uttar Pradesh, the swearing-in ceremony of the newly elected members for the 18th Assembly session started today. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath was administered oath first, being the leader of the House. Leader of Opposition Akhilesh Yadav also took oath as MLA. The oath was administered by Pro Tem Speaker Ramapati Shastri. The swearing-in ceremony will continue tomorrow also from 11 a.m. The election for the Speaker of the Assembly will take place tomorrow afternoon. Speaking to the media prior to the ceremony, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath congratulated the newly elected MLAs and extended good wishes. CM Yogi Adityanath also met Leader of Opposition Akhilesh Yadav in the Legislative Assembly.
Minister of State for Home Affairs Ajay Mishra today introduced the Criminal Procedure Identification Bill 2022 in the Lok Sabha.
माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं माननीय गृह मंत्री श्री अमित शाह जी की ओर से प्रस्ताव करता हूं कि आपराधिक मामलों में पहचान और जांच के प्रयोजनों के लिए दोष सिद्ध व्यक्तियों तथा दूसरों की माप को प्राधिकृत करने तथा अभिलेखों के परीक्षण तथा उससे संसक्त और उसके आनुषंगिक विषयों को उपबंध करने वाले विधेयक को प्रस्थापित करने की अनुमति दी जाए.
Mr. Mishra said it would increase prosecution and court conviction, also safeguard constitutional principles and human rights. He added that the existing provisions were 102 years old. Congress MPs Manish Tiwari and Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, RSP MP N.K. Premachandran, BSP MP Ritesh Pandey and TMC MP Sogato Roy opposed the introduction of the Criminal Procedure Identification Bill 2022. Mr. Roy said the bill violated basic human rights and principles of the Constitution. Mr. Tiwari urged to ponder whether it is in the legislative competence of the Treasury to sponsor legislation which squarely hits the fundamental rights and the part of the Constitution. Later it was 120 votes in favour and 58 against a division vote seeking introduction of the bill. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today asserted that writing off does not mean entirely waiving of money due from NPAs. In response to a question by T.R. Balu of the DMK, Mrs. Sitharaman informed the Lok Sabha that the writing of the NPAs does not translate to waiving of the amount. She informed the House that as part of the accounting process, banks make a provision for the money which is due from the NPA account. The Finance Minister added that pursuing of the defaulter is followed up. She apprised that several public sector banks have got the money back by claiming assets and securities of the defaulter. Mrs. Sitharaman said money was never obtained from these defaulters to go back to the banks through the UPA rule. In reply to supplementaries, the Minister said the government has not taken a decision to bring a new law to provide for a legal framework for resolution of financial firms.
The government is not considering to set up an institute of resolution professionals to oversee and self-regulate conduct of resolution professionals. In a written reply in the Lok Sabha, the Minister of State for Corporate Affairs, Rao Inderjeet Singh, said the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016 provides for a two-tier regulatory structure to oversee the conduct of insolvency professionals, IPs. He said in the first tier there are 3 insolvency professional agencies, IPAs, registered with the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, IBBI, of which our IPs are members. The IBBI is the second tier regulator having oversight on the IPAs and IPs. Labour and Employment Minister Bhupendra Yadav informed the Lok Sabha that the government considers revising the pay ceiling from time to time. However, at the moment, there are no pending proposals with the government. Mr. Yadav was responding to N.K. Premachandran's question if the government would revise the 21,000 rupee cap for eligibility to entitlements under the ESIC. The Minister apprised the House that the Social Security Code implemented by the Ministry to include the population, not a part of the Employee State Insurance Corporation ESIC scheme. Mr. Yadav added that in the previous board meeting of ESIC, it was decided that health of workers and potential diseases to be determined as per the specific occupation of the work. The Minister said ESIC has also digitized various services provided by it, including registration of employers and establishments and demographic registration of employees.
The government today said over 3,900 crore rupees is lying in 11,72,923 inoperative accounts under Employees Provident Fund (EPF) scheme as on March 31st last year. In a written reply in the Lok Sabha, the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Rameshwar Teli, said there is no proposal to enhance employers' contribution under EPF. He said Employees Provident Fund organisation has robust online and transparent mechanism of claims processing and settlement in place. It is regularly monitored at the highest level. This system provides the access to the subscribers to ascertain the status of claim till the settlement is complete. The Minister said the processing of claims is an ongoing activity and the time taken is less than 20 days for most of the claims. Mr. Teli said till 22nd of this month in the current fiscal, over 51,54,000 Provident Fund claims have been settled. The Rajya Sabha has been adjourned till 12 noon following noisy scenes by the opposition parties on price rise and other issues. When the House assembled for the day this morning, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu disallowed the adjournment notices given by the opposition parties on the issues of price rise and trade union strike and atrocities against scheduled class people in Rajasthan. Following this, members from TMC, Congress, Left and others created noisy scenes leading to adjournment of the House minutes after it met for the day.
A total of 3,343 crore rupees foreign direct investment inflow has been reported in the country since 2014 in the defence sector. This was stated by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in a written reply in the Rajya Sabha today. The minister said a total FDI inflow of about 1,382 crore rupees was reported during the period of 2001 to 2014. He added that the government has liberalized the FDI policy in 2020, allowing 74% FDI under automatic route and beyond 74% up to 100% through government route. He said the step was taken to give more thrust and access to modern technology in the defence sector. The government is closely monitoring the impact on the country's exports from the MSME sector that arose due to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. In a written reply in the Rajya Sabha today, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Minister Narayan Rane said his ministry is apprised of the present situation and in the process of taking appropriate action. He informed that over $2,800 million worth of export was made to Russia during the period of April to January of this fiscal year. He further said over $426 million worth of export was made to Ukraine during the same period.
President Ramnath Kovind will confer Padma Awards for the year 2022 at a civil investiture ceremony at Rashtrapati Bhavan today. The prominent Padma Vibhushan recipients include classical vocalist Dr. Prabha Atre, political leader Kalyan Singh, who will be awarded posthumously. The Padma Bhushan recipients include actor Victor Banerjee, writer Dr. Pratibha Ray, and Acharya Vashisht Tripathi. The awards are conferred in three categories: Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, and Padma Shri. These awards are given in various disciplines such as art, social work, public affairs, science and engineering, trade and industry, medicine, literature and education, sports and civil service. Padma Vibhushan is awarded for exceptional and distinguished service, Padma Bhushan for distinguished service of higher order, and Padma Shri for distinguished service in any field. The awards are announced on the occasion of Republic Day every year. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar began his Sri Lanka visit by meeting Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa this morning. In a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar said they discussed the economic situation and India's supportive response. He said India will continue to be guided by neighbourhood first policy. The External Affairs Minister reached Colombo yesterday on a 3-day visit to Sri Lanka after his Maldives visit. He will hold bilateral and BIMSTEC ministerial meetings over the next 2 days.
More than 183 crore 26 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 4,20,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. During the same period, a total of 1,270 new cases were reported in the country. The recovery rate is currently at 98.75%. A total of 1,567 people recovered in the last 24 hours. Over 184 crore 53 lakh vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far. The vaccines have been given through the central government free of cost channel and through direct state procurement category. The Health Ministry said over 16 crore 16 lakh balance and unutilized COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and UTs.
In Kerala, normal life was completely thrown out of gear following the 48-hour nationwide strike called by trade unions in support of the various demands. Shops, business establishments, offices of private firms and markets across the state remained closed in most places, while state-run and private buses remained off the road. Private vehicles, largely two-wheelers, were seen plying. The strike did not affect the functioning of the software parks in the state. In the industrial hub of Kochi, production of various public sector undertakings, including the Cochin Shipyard, FACT and the BPCL Cochin refineries, was not affected. However, road movement of petroleum products from Cochin refineries was hit. Many passengers who arrived in the state from different parts of the country had to spend several hours at bus and railway stations due to the non-availability of other means of transport.
Bihar Governor Phagu Chauhan today accepted the recommendation of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar recommending the removal of Mukesh Sahni from the post of Cabinet Minister. Bharatiya Janata Party had requested Nitish Kumar the removal of Mukesh Sahni from his post of Minister for Animal Husbandry and Fisheries. Earlier, all three MLAs of Mukesh Sahni-led Vikashsheel Insan Party VIP had quit their party and joined the BJP.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Senior BJP leader Pramod Sawant sworn in as the Chief Minister of Goa today for the second consecutive term. Rajya Sabha witnesses adjournment over noisy scenes by opposition parties on price rise and other issues. Criminal Procedure Identification Bill 2022 introduced in Lok Sabha. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar meets Sri Lankan Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa to hold bilateral and BIMSTEC meetings over the next 2 days. Over 183 crore 26 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Met Department forecasts heat wave in several northern and western states for the next 3 days. Russia and Ukraine to hold fresh round of talks in Turkey. Oscar Awards 2022 announced in Los Angeles. Will Smith wins first Oscar as Best Actor. Dune wins 6 awards and Coda takes 3. Ace Indian shuttler PV Sindhu wins women's singles title at Swiss Open Badminton Championships at Basel. And in IPL, Gujarat Titans to take on Lucknow Super Giants at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
क्या आप कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम की तैयारी कर रहे हैं? ऑल इंडिया रेडियो के नए प्रोग्राम अभ्यास में हमारे विशेषज्ञ आपके सवालों का देंगे जवाब। शनिवार रात 9:30 बजे FM गोल्ड पर। इस बार का विषय है हिस्ट्री। आप इससे जुड़े सवाल व्हाट्सएप करें 9289094044 पर या सवाल ईमेल भी कर सकते हैं abhyas.air@gmail.com पर। इतिहास विषय पर आपके प्रश्न हमें 30 मार्च तक मिल जाने चाहिए। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the Midday News. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in Griha Pravesham of about 5.21 lakh beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin in Madhya Pradesh via video conferencing tomorrow. He will also address the gathering on the occasion. It has been a constant endeavour of the Prime Minister to provide Pakka House with all basic amenities to every needy family of the country. This marks yet another step in this direction. The implementation of the PMAYG in Madhya Pradesh is witnessing many unique and innovative steps, like training thousands of masons, including women, using fly ash bricks, empowering women self-help groups by providing them with loans for centering material and using technology for better execution and monitoring of projects. Nepal Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deoba will pay an official visit to India from the 1st to the 3rd of April at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He will be accompanied by his wife, Dr. Arzu Deoba, and a high-level delegation. This will be the first bilateral visit abroad by the Prime Minister of Nepal after assuming his office in July last year. External Affairs Ministry said in a release that Mr. Deoba will call on Vice President Venkaiah Naidu and hold talks with Prime Minister Modi on the 2nd of April. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval will call on the Prime Minister of Nepal. Besides official engagements in New Delhi, Mr. Deoba will visit Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur today held a meeting with Isam Kazim, CEO of Dubai Tourism and Commerce Marketing in Dubai. It was a free-wheeling discussion on Dubai's strengths in tourism and media and entertainment sectors. Yesterday, the minister launched Tejas, Training for Emirates Jobs and Skills at Dubai Expo. In his address, Mr. Thakur said the project is aimed at skilling, certification and overseas employment of Indians. The minister also held discussion with the Minister of State for International Cooperation of UAE, Reem Al-Hashimi. He also held a series of discussions on investment opportunities with industry leaders from film and entertainment industry in India and UAE. Russia and Ukraine will hold a fresh round of talks in Turkey from today to the 30th of this month. So far, both countries have held several negotiations about opening humanitarian corridors in Ukrainian cities most affected by military strikes. But none has yielded results. The talks in Turkey, however, will be the second round of high-level talks between negotiators from both countries.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken today denied that the United States has any plans to bring about regime change in Russia or anywhere else. Mr. Blinken's comments come a day after President Joe Biden said his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin should not be allowed to remain in power. Minister Biden made the remark at the end of his speech in Poland. Mr. Blinken said the president simply made the point that Mr. Putin should not be allowed to wage war against Ukraine. The Kremlin dismissed Mr. Biden's remark, saying it was for Russians to choose their leader. The Taliban have ordered airlines in Afghanistan to stop women from boarding flights unless accompanied by a male relative. The latest restriction on women follows last week's shutdown of all girls' secondary schools just hours after they were allowed to reopen for the first time since the hardline Islamists seized power in August. Two officials from Afghanistan's Ariana Afghan Airline and Calm Air said the Taliban had ordered them to stop boarding women if they were travelling alone.
Met Department has forecast heat wave in several states for the next 3 days. Talking to AIR News, IMD scientist R.K. Jenamani said heat wave conditions will prevail over Delhi, West Rajasthan, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. He said people will get some respite from the heat after the 31st of this month.
We expect further rise up to 39 degree next 3 days. Mainly the heat wave is now developing over West Rajasthan and also already Gujarat heat wave has been prevailing last 2 days and the temperature has been 41 to 42 degree. West Madhya Pradesh also has reported isolated heat wave. So now the forecast is that over these areas, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat states, the heat wave will continue next 3 days.
And now let's listen to a special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव। Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day. Indian आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव। Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle.
March 1943, a leading activist of Madras Presidency, Satyamurthy, is regarded as the mentor of Madras State Chief Minister and Bharat Ratna K. Kamaraj.
Satyamurthy was born on the 19th of August 1887 in Pudukkottai in Tamil Nadu. A lawyer by profession, Satyamurthy was attracted to the national movement from an early age and joined the Indian National Congress. In 1919, he was chosen by the Congress as its representative to Britain to protest the Rowlatt Act and the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. Satyamurthy joined the Swaraj Party along with senior Congress leaders like C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru. He was arrested in 1930 for attempting to hoist the tricolour above a temple in Madras.
Satyamurthy played a major role in the Congress's victory in the 1937 polls to the Madras Legislative Assembly. In 1939, Satyamurthy became the mayor of Madras. As mayor, he constructed the Pundi Reservoir to solve drinking water scarcity in the city and was the first to launch the beautification scheme for the city with the help of volunteers of various social service organizations. In 1942, after the Quit India movement started, he was arrested and sent to Nagpur jail. The jail terms took a toll on his health and he died on the 28th of March 1943. Satyamurthy was a man of the masses and believed in their welfare. We salute the
Remember freedom fighter Abdul Bari, who died on the 28th of March 1947. A lecturer by profession, Abdul Bari was born in 1892 in district Jahanabad, Bihar. He took part in the freedom struggle under the leadership of Dr. Rajendra Prasad and A.N. Sinha and played an active role in the non-cooperation movement and the subsequent struggles against the colonial government.
In 1937, Bari became the deputy speaker in Bihar at the time of the first Congress government in the province. He was also appointed the vice chairman of the Bihar Labour Inquiry Committee. He later was involved in the labour movements of the region and began organizing the workers in their struggles against their exploiters.
Quit India movement, he plunged into the mainstream politics and was arrested and imprisoned at Hazaribagh jail. After his release, he resumed his activities in the workers' struggle. His prominent role in the Bihar freedom struggle, his organizational ability and political standing enabled him to become the president of Bihar Pradesh Congress Committee in 1946. When the communal riots started engulfing Bihar in 1947, he played a prominent role in stopping its spread. On the 28th of March 1947, while he was coming to Patna to meet Gandhiji, he was brutally killed on Patna-Fatuha Road by unidentified miscreants. Gandhiji visited his home to meet the bereaved family members and paid glowing tributes to his selfless service to the nation. All India Radio salutes the great martyr.
We also remember freedom fighter Chaudhary Bansi Lal, who died on the 28th of March 2006. Born in Bhiwani district of Haryana on the 26th of August 1927, Bansi Lal was the secretary of Praja Mandal in the Loharu state from 1943 to 1944. After independence, Bansi Lal joined politics and served 3 separate terms as the Chief Minister of Haryana. He is considered to be the architect of modern Haryana and was part of the famous Lal trio of Haryana, which also included Tau Devi Lal and Bhajan Lal. We salute the great Indian. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
At the 94th Academy Award ceremony, Will Smith won the first Oscar of his career for his performance in King Richard. Jessica Chastain won Best Actress for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Best Supporting Actress award was won by Ariana DeBose for West Side Story. Coda was the big winner of the night, winning the Best Picture award. The film was nominated in 3 categories and won all 3. The other 2 are Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Supporting Actor for Troy Kotsur. Miss Campion is the first woman to ever compete in the category twice. In 1994, she was nominated for The Piano. The Oscar award for Best Supporting Actor went to Troy Kotsur for his role in Coda. He's the first deaf male actor ever to be nominated and to win an Oscar.
The 94th Academy Awards ceremony, presented by the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences, honored the best films released between March 1 and December 31st, 2021. The ceremony, hosted by Regina Hall, Amy Schumer and Wanda Sykes, takes place at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood, Los Angeles, California this morning, where awards are being given in 10 categories. These are some of the prominent awards declared so far. Best Supporting Actress, Ariana DeBose, West Side Story. Best Sound, Dune. Best Cinematography, Dune. Best Documentary Short Subject, The Queen of Basketball. Best Visual Effects, Dune. Best Animated Feature, Encanto. Best Animated Short Film, The Windshield Wiper. Japanese film Drive My Car won Best International Feature. Kenneth Branagh won the Best Original Screenplay Award for Belfast. Sian Hadar wins Best Adapted Screenplay for Coda. Samuel Jackson, Elaine May and Liv Ullmann will be honored with Honorary Academy Awards for 2022. The Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award will be handed over to Danny Glover. Ravi Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
In IPL cricket, Gujarat Titans will be locking horns with Lucknow Super Giants at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai at 7:30 this evening.
And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Senior BJP leader Pramod Sawant sworn in as Chief Minister of Goa today for second consecutive term. Rajya Sabha witnesses adjournment over noisy scenes by opposition parties on price rise and other issues. Criminal Procedure Identification Bill 2022 introduced in Lok Sabha. And with that we end the midday news.